Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Green Room Podcast. I'm Matthew Brune, and joining me once again is Colin Mitchell. Colin, how are you feeling today? I saw you. I don't want to put your business out there, but I saw you on a rooftop today.
I was on a rooftop. I'm afraid of heights, and I wasn't afraid. I did rip a lot of holes in my pants, though, being on my roof.
I have the. Let's pull up the picture.
Yeah, pull up the picture.
Let's pull up the pictures. That way, people understand what we are looking at here today. Colin Mitchell.
I think I have another one on my phone.
Well, tell them what you were doing on the roof. You're not even
Hanging Christmas lights.
Christmas lights.
Hanging Christmas lights.
So here's our beloved Colin Mitchell on the roof.
There I am. Look at that. Wow, what a picture Norma took. That's a really good picture.
In an athletic pose, you can see him really locked in there.
I didn't like putting the you have to put these clips on and they go under your shingles, and I feel like that's just not.
You've never put up lights before, have you?
Well, no, and also I just got a new roof, and I don't know if that's okay. I'm sure it's fine because everyone does it, but
Yeah, my mom's done that for however many years she's been a homeowner, so perfectly fine. I will say, my mom. Have you ever met my mom?
Yes, multiple times actually.
I know the one time you came to San Antonio.
I don't remember one more time after that.
She got first place in our neighborhood. She in the past like 6 years or 7 years, she's gotten like first place, third place, like all top 5.
So y'all go crazy with the lights
consistently. Yeah, I could probably pull up a picture. If I don't want to kill too much time, but yeah, she's and she's not up there on the roof or nothing because it's a 2-story house, so she's not up there on the roof or anything. They used to hire people to come put them on the roof. But no, it's just the tree and everything. Dang, I don't think I have a picture of last year.
So originally I had the ladder just like extended, and before I got on the roof, it was extended probably I was probably up like 12, 15 feet, and the ladder was not stable. So
okay,
you should probably get down.
I don't know if you can really see this.
There's some deer and some candy canes, and there's lights for sure, and a wreath.
Oh, look at those lights.
Looks
now,
amazing.
like I said, they used to go on get the people to do the roof, but they didn't do that this year. And also, the tree lights aren't on in this one day. I think they have tree. Anyways, they got some inflatables recently, so that was a big thing for them. So
wow.
Anyways, that's what I'm expecting from you.
I think we're done. No one wants an inflatable.
Buy an inflatable. They're like $30.
Yeah, well, I don't really care to deal with it.
All right, so it's only what Colin wants, not what Colin
I didn't want to do lights.
The lights are compromise. That was your compromise. Was the lights? Okay. All right. Let's talk about North Texas. North Texas football defeats UAB 45-42.
Thank God.
In Datku Stadium on Saturday afternoon on senior night. A lot of places we could start with this. I watched this game this morning. I live tweeted some of it. Gave my thoughts. And I will say in a big picture, since I was very afraid they were going to lose, even though I knew North Texas was going to win. So I can only imagine watching in real time what you were feeling as North Texas.
You texted me and you were like, how do they win this game?
First half, it was like, all right, how do you win this game? Because even into the third quarter, UAB had the drop 40-yard bomb, and I'm like, okay, it's a lucky break, but it was pretty clear there was no momentum for North Texas. Eventually, UAB slows down offensively, makes a couple of mistakes. North Texas defense, as it always does this season, seemingly bows up in the second half. And then it really just turned into I'll give credit to the running backs as well. Obviously, they had a great game, but Chandler Rogers, it felt like to me, just kind of took over. And the offense just kept rolling. So, 643 yards of offense. It was another fantastic showing from a unit that has rolled all year. Eric Morris deserves credit. Chandler Rogers over 3,000 yards passing. Iowa Day over 1,000 yards rushing, and Jamori Macklin over 1,000 yards receiving. 2 of those 3 have come on this podcast, Colin. So I think there's correlation there. But where do you want to start? What are your overall thoughts on the game?
Chandler Rogers, I will just start with him. We talked about him last week, whether it was statistically the best quarterback season in North Texas history. I think the 3 touchdowns, 404 yards kind of puts it there. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but I think rushing touchdowns, we're not even including those really.
Yeah.
This dude's just a machine. On top of that, he would have had an extra 59 yards rushing if it wasn't called back. And let me tell you, when he broke away, I was like, all right, here we go. And then, the penalties. And that happened a couple times. Landon Sides, I think going into next
Yes.
year is going to be an amazing, amazing piece for this team. I think he had 100 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
Yeah, 6 catches, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jamori Macklin, I think, had a very good game as well. And then you already talked about it. The running backs were just, I mean, amazing. 18 carries, both of them. Both of them had over 110 yards. Iode had 132. Oscar Adaway had 113. Offensively, great. I think you should talk about the defense because you seemed a lot more angry. I feel like because you just recently seen it. I'm over it now because whatever. But I think you should bring up the defense.
Yeah. I don't have anything else on I mean, we'll talk, a little bit more in depth about the offense, but uh, defensively, I think I was already numb after watching LSU play A&M. Then you turn and watch North Texas UAB, and
Mm,
second half, North Texas goes up 35-28. The defense seemingly had figured it out, right? UAB, Jacob Zeno was fine in the first half. I don't have their second half stats in front of me, but it felt like it just fell off a cliff in the second half. That like their passing game. Um, Second half, they went 5 for 10 with one pick for 137 yards, and that includes a couple big plays. So it was very hit or miss in the pass game. They just said we're just going to run the ball on North Texas, and I thought North Texas did a much better job in the second half against the run, which was great. But it's just the big plays that this team allows. It feels a lot like what we watched, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, where it's like, all right, boom, there's a 60-yard run. Boom, there's a 50-yard pass. And
yeah,
it gets so tiresome. It's like, I do think a lot of it is coaching, but at the same time, this team in general, a lot of the mistakes are being made by some freshmen and some younger players as well. So you pair that with some players who I just don't think are very good on the defensive side of the ball. I'm sorry, I'm going to be blunt about it. I'm not going to name them by name, but you go down the list. I think there's a lot of room for improvements in the personnel department on this defense. It's
I
just
mean, you could name him by name if you wanted to.
yeah, I mean, it's
I just,
season's over.
I'm just
Like,
messing with you.
whenever we talk about the transfer portal and stuff, I'll get into, like, positions of need and whatnot, but, like,
Yeah,
it's basically across the board. There's outside of the freshmen who I think will develop into good players, there are very few positions where I think they're set. Like, I think corner with Rich Tejada is cool, but, the outside of that, you're playing, Lorenzo Thompson and John Davis got hurt, so it's the safety position has been hit or miss. So, again, you're playing a lot of freshmen there, so linebacker as well. So it's just a lot of things. It was painful to watch an offense in UAB that seemingly had no life in the second half. You gave them life with busted coverages. You gave
yeah,
them life with not being able to fill a gap correctly, tripping over yourself. You just kept giving, not setting the edge, basic things. You just kept giving them yards. They weren't earning anything in the second half.
yeah,
And that was the frustrating part. So, sure, they deserve credit. Third quarter they were great. They let North Texas get back in the game, but ultimately, you got to stop just giving other teams yards here. This isn't like UAB is not a good offense, and you just let them get 500 yards of offense on you. So that was
yeah.
that was my frustration.
To your point about the big plays, for rushing, there were UAB had 7 plays where they gained more than 10 yards on rushing, and it equaled for 164 yards. And then for passing, they had 6 plays that were 15 yards plus for 222 yards. And that's one of those is that 80-yard touchdown off the slant. The other one was 47-yard play in the fourth quarter, which you're talking about. And then for the fourth quarter on the other end, you had a couple runs. So I mean, the 66-yard run as well in the second quarter. It's like, okay, I guess we'll just,
That's the one I posted on
yeah,
Twitter.
yeah. I guess we'll take that. So, I mean, if you just want to go 30 yards or more, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plays of 30 yards or more uh, against North Texas. So, to your point, it's really bad.
Yeah,
Um, I also want to talk about penalties a little bit. Penalties were kind of annoying because it happened a lot. How many did they have?
it was
Uh,
choppy. Let me look it up. I'm not
They had
gonna
7 total, yeah. 4 on offense and
seven for
3 on.
75.
Yeah, yeah, and
I
so that was
mean,
frustrating. I mean, and they came at the most inopportune times. I mean, we already talked about Chandler Rogers running for 59 yards, that getting called back. Landon Sides, I think, had 2 touchdowns, and then they were both called back. Um, and then,
I know of at
pass
least one.
interference and face mask,
Yeah.
whatever. But they won the game. It's okay.
Yes, they did. And again, defensively, we'll get into I think off-season wise where we need to see improvement. Like this game didn't shock me that the defense it doesn't shock me anymore that the defense allows 42 points.
Just
It
disappointing.
it's disappointing that UAB does not have a pulse in the second half and you give them a pulse. Like you just give them yards. Like this game should not have been competitive. This game went about exactly how I thought it was going to go when I predicted them to win by what was 8, 9, 10 points, whatever it was. Like
Mhm.
I thought North Texas is just a more well-rounded team, the better offense, a better quarterback. Everything played out how I thought it was going to play out, and then all of a sudden, the defense just says, "Here, take 60 yards and flip the game on its
Yeah.
head." So it's just hard to be a consistent team when you are giving up those type of yards. So, um, like I said, defensively, we'll get into that in the offseason. I mean, personnel wise, coach wise, I think everything will be evaluated. Everything needs to be evaluated. This is legitimately, if not the worst defense in the country statistically, one of two, one of three worst defenses in the country. I think UMass was down there with them. So we're getting in pretty bad territory right now.
Yeah, with
And
UMass, I'm surprised you won any games in the America when you have a defense that
yeah.
bad, honestly.
And let's just say it's so stark because like the offense, you could argue we argued, Chandler Rogers having the best quarterback season ever. This might be the best offensive season ever at North
Mhm.
Texas.
Mhm.
Like flat out, it might be the best offensive season ever. And it's also coincides with perhaps the worst defensive season ever. And we've seen
Yeah.
some awful defenses at North
It was
Texas.
it what's crazy too is, I believe they said this on the broadcast that Trent Dilfer said that, he believed that Chandler Rogers was the best football player in all of the American. And if you have anybody calling your quarterback that, you'd think that the team would be better than 5 and 7.
Yeah.
And, offensively, yeah, they are playing better than 5 and 7, but on the defensive end, if you don't score 40 points, then you're probably apparently you're gonna lose games.
Yeah. And even if you take out the first two games, 5-5. Yeah, I want to reiterate, and I think this goes into something else I wanted to talk about here. I don't have anything else on this game specifically. Do you?
Mm-mm.
I do want to give a shout out to the running backs though. Aday and Adaway, man.
I'm so glad we have him back for another year.
They are so good. They're so good. But yeah, I want to give them a shout. Like you said, Landon Sides deserves a shout out. He's going to be a really, really impressive player. Michael Lawrence type there. That's the comp I thought of. Is that the comp you thought of?
No, not at all. Like, Landside's got a little bit more pop to him than Michael Lawrence does.
Well, let's get Mike Law on the podcast. Let's ask him.
Ask Mike Law.
He's not watching North Texas football
To
anymore.
be fair, Mike Law was also like a vet, whereas Landside's like a freshman right now.
Yeah.
Like, he's only gonna get better.
He's really good. He'll be really good. Now I do want to bring up something that I saw on Twitter. And I was gonna reply to it on Twitter, and then I wasn't sure, so I went back and checked, and then I said I'll just talk about it on the podcast. But I don't remember who it was. Sorry, I don't have credit. But somebody said, "How are we going to keep these three?" And it was a picture of Chandler Rogers, Iowa Day, and Jamori Macklin. And
Oh,
how
yeah, I
how
do
are we gonna
remember that
keep them
one.
from the transfer portal? And my initial response, the first thing I was gonna reply with was, well, the NCAA has clearly cracked down on the two-time transfers, and Rogers and Macklin are both transfers, right? So you can't,
Right.
unless if you are a graduate transfer, you can't transfer a second time. And to my knowledge, Rogers is currently a junior, and Macklin is currently a junior,
Yep.
right? So unless if they graduated in 3 years, which maybe it could happen, it doesn't happen a ton nowadays, I don't think, but in theory, you'd get one more year from them, and then they could potentially go as graduate transfers. I think if they have a fifth year of eligibility, which I don't think
Well, it also
Rogers
depends on
would.
their Rogers isn't, I guess, this on the broadcast, I could be wrong. He's a fifth-year junior, I guess, because of COVID, and I guess he redshirted already. So,
So he,
academically, he
so
could
maybe he
technically
could.
be a graduate transfer.
So maybe he could. Yeah, I need
But
to.
if he's a fifth
I
year
didn't know
but if he's a
Rogers only
fifth year
spent.
j but if he's a fifth-year junior, wouldn't he already have been a graduate transfer? Because he would have
That's
graduated.
that's that's the point I think they made on the broadcast was they called him a graduate transfer
Okay. Yeah, I
to
didn't
North
think about that.
Texas.
So, like, yeah, if he's already a graduate transfer here, he can't transfer again as a graduate transfer.
So yeah, I'm sorry I didn't see his Chandler Rogers ULM. Let's look this up real quick.
I think he started at Southern Miss.
Sorry, let's get this up here before. Um, 2001. So yeah, he is 22. Yeah, just turned 22 years old. Yeah,
Yeah, he was.
Southern
Yep.
Miss for 1 year, in 2019, then COVID year, like you said, and then 2 years at ULM.
Yeah.
That's kinda crazy. Yeah, so this like you said, this was his graduate transfer.
Yeah.
So that's and he still has another year of eligibility. So that's how I'm approaching it.
Not
Um,
only that, are we really looking at North Texas as like, I'm not saying North Texas is the place to be, but unless and I'm not saying Chandler Rogers isn't good enough, but unless you have a team that's, like, really, 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 like, well known, like, if a Texas or, like, a team on that level, are you really trying to leave the American?
okay.
Like, this isn't like it's
Okay,
Conference
look, let's
USA.
let's 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 think about this for a second. I don't think Rogers, like after looking at all this the information here, I don't think Rogers can transfer again. That's
Right,
my
but
main point.
theoretically, like, if you had a player like
Jamori
Jamori Macklin
Jamori Macklin, also, I don't know his academic situation, but 3 years in, I believe 1 year at Missouri, 2 years here. I don't think he's graduated yet. So he technically, I don't believe can transfer unless he's a graduate transfer. So I let's say you get Rogers and Macklin back a day. Maybe he leaves. Maybe I'm not worried about the running back position. I'm really not. I'm sorry, but it would be great to have him back. We'll see. Whatever happens, happens. But that's those three. I'm not worried about. Now let's go to your hypothetical of would Chandler Rogers leave if he could? Maybe. I mean, we saw Sam Hartman go from Wake Forest to Notre Dame, kind of get like the NIL stuff is very, very prominent. And what if a team like Arkansas reached out and so on and so forth? Like, I think there
Yeah.
are situations. I think Rogers is that good of a quarterback, and I
No,
want to
I'm
make
not
this
saying he's
perfectly
not,
clear.
but I'm saying I think North Texas is more of a like we kept Mason Fine, right? Like Mason Fine could have done the same
That
thing.
was a different era.
Obviously, different type of scenario in terms of like his loyalty, started as a freshman, blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
But like he also could have left if he really
yeah.
wanted to.
So that's gonna be I don't worry about the transfer portal with this team because I think outside of those 3, right, or even those 2, Rodgers and Macklin are the 2 for me. And assuming they both cannot transfer because, like I said, the NCAA just doesn't let team players transfer unless they are graduate transfers. And if we're saying Rodgers already used his graduate transfer and Macklin has 1 more year before he can graduate transfer,
Hmm.
then you take care of those 2. I'm not worried about the rest. Like, yeah, sure, defensively, there's a player here or there I would love to keep. Yes, it's not gonna make or break your defense. You can't get worse than where you were this year. So it
Right.
is very much a schematic and a coaching type thing to me that's gonna take time for you to get those players in.
Macklin could technically, I guess, graduate transfer. He started Mizzou in 2020, so 2020, 21, 22, 23. So
So
4
did he
years.
spend 2 years at Missouri?
According to ESPN, he had 1 reception, and then he didn't play the 21 season, and then 22, 23.
Okay, so that is 4th year. So
Yeah,
maybe Macklin does go back. I don't know where his head's at. I don't know. But again, this is those are the 2 for me that
right.
I'd be like, "Alright, there you go." And, hey, if you ask how do you keep them, I mean, I really don't think North Texas you pitch them on what you repeating what you just did this year.
Yeah. Not only that, like for Chandler Rogers, for example, he's been 3 different places. Southern Miss, ULM. When I looked online, he went to Blinn as well. So like, does he really want to go again? Like,
Yeah.
I would assume no.
I'm
Jamari
not
Macklin, probably not as well. I don't think.
y
I'm not worried either.
yeah, Macklin, when we talked to him, I don't know. I mean, things change. If somebody comes drops X
I mean,
amount of dollars on
shoot,
my
Larry
desk.
Nixon. Like,
Yeah, Larry Jair Shorter, Larry Nixon, like Deshaun Gaddy,
yeah,
if someone comes and drops in a lot of money on my desk, I mean, I'm going. But we'll see. But Rodgers and Macklin are the 2, like, that if I have a certain amount of NIL fund, if I'm Eric Morris, uh, I'm keeping those 2.
yeah,
We'll figure the rest out. We
yeah.
will figure the rest out. Um, yeah, I'm not too worried about it. Maybe they leave, maybe they go. COVID year really complicates things with eligibility stuff still. Hopefully we're done with that next year, but I did think it was worth bringing up and talking about it um briefly on this reaction podcast. Um what do we anything else we want to talk about? Oh, well, we have the pick 'em to talk about.
Of course. I mean, of course, we have the pick'em to talk about.
Let me go pull it up here.
Yeah, whip that up. I
Let's
lost, by the way, everybody, but you already knew that. You guys already knew that. That's been a done deal.
Here it is. Here it is. Present, share screen, media posts. All right.
Wow.
Here we are.
Let me get the stats up to see.
Colin needed a clean sweep. He needed to
Yeah.
go 5-0 in the pick'em in order to win this week.
Yes.
We even put in a tiebreaker in case it was 4-0 or something
It
like
wasn't
that.
going to happen. But
First up, North Texas Sacks, 3.5.
they didn't
North
get
Texas
that. They
had
had
2.
2. Yep.
So the under hit. So Bruni gets that one.
Should have had a couple more, though, I will say. They should have had a
Yes.
couple more.
Yes. That's another thing about this defense. Just fundamentally just not good enough. UAB, 5.25 yards per carry. Colin said over. It was
They hit that.
7.1. There's Colin. Chandler Rogers, 299.5 passing yards. I set that line. I was very happy with that. Colin took
Yeah,
under
404.
passed for 404 yards. Never
Yeah.
doubt Chandler Rogers. So there's another one for Bruni, and then Macklin receptions over under 4.5. I set that line. Colin took the under. Just didn't believe in this offense, I guess. And Macklin had 9.
I was hoping that the running game would be more involved earlier.
I mean, they ran the ball
Just
47
Tulsa.
times.
Like Tulsa. That's what I was thinking.
They ran
Tulsa was gonna
100
happen.
plays. Isn't that crazy?
That is that's really
North
crazy.
Texas ran 100 plays to UAB's 57.
Yeah.
What
The
was
overs
time
are
of
gonna hit on
possession?
a lot of things if the time of possession was
36 point where'd it go? 36.5 to 23.5.
yeah.
That is crazy. That is nuts.
That's 3 plays a minute almost.
Yeah. So, and then we got the score, which really neither of us got, but technically Colin was closer. So if you want that one, Colin, I'll give it to you.
Thanks.
There you go.
I'll take the pity
So
point.
final score 3-2 Bruni
Mm,
makes it 31 to
25.
26.
Oh,
And
3-2. Yep.
that is how it goes. Colin will be shaving his head on air. This year's punishment is set. We have Patrick Cobbs liked your tweet
Yeah.
saying that you were going to shave your head. I don't know if he's watching here, Patrick, but hey, come back on the pod.
We gotta think of something to do on that podcast because is it just gonna be me awkwardly like
Trivia. We'll do what we were supposed to do for the hot chip.
yeah, that just took a turn as well.
Just
Like, do
well,
we do
actually,
do we do like a stripe per question? Like,
yeah. Every
like
time, everyone you're wrong. Another. every time you're wrong, another
another
side
one goes.
goes. Oh my
Tough
gosh.
scene. Yep. Sorry, it's almost. I mean, it had to be me, right? Like, I had the longer hair. You lost last year.
I told Colin. I said, you know what you should do is get a haircut now.
No,
Get
no,
it down to
we
like a
gotta.
3 or something.
It has to be shocking when it
Colin,
goes.
turn around. Show everyone your hair. Look at
No,
that. That
it's
thing
long.
is.
Yeah, it's
That
long.
is. If he shaved his sides, he'd have a mullet. Honestly, we should have done that. We should. You want a mullet? Do you want a mullet, Colin?
No, I don't. I don't want to
Honestly,
pull it.
that would be.
I kind of want to go bald because I kind of want to go short hair again. So it's almost like a blessing in disguise in a certain sense. But I do have to hit it with a razor. It can't just be clippers. We've
Okay.
decided that it
Well,
did
be
have to be hit
careful
with a
with the
razor.
razor. I don't want you to cut yourself.
Well,
And
Norma's gonna do that. We're gonna do the clippers on live, and
make
then
sure
we're
you
gonna clean
have
it up.
some foam and stuff. You just.
You think I shaved my face dry?
I don't know what you do. Look, I've been in your house vicinity. Well, not your house, but I've been in your vicinity a lot of times, and so you never fail to
Amaze you? That's
surprise
true.
me in what you do in life.
Next year, I'm actually excited for next year's challenge. Is that a final decision?
I mean, sure, it can be. We can always change it, but yeah, for now, it's supposed to be run a half marathon
Yeah, in under 3 hours.
in under. Well, yeah, we'll set the timetable, but yeah,
Under a
tentatively,
certain amount of time, we do have to think of a punishment if you don't get the time.
you gotta do it again.
No, dude, no.
Once a week until you get it.
Oh,
You're gonna be in great shape, man.
you have to train for it throughout the season because you
I
might
just
be the
wanted
one.
to. I want the time to be to where we can't walk it. We gotta be at least trying to slow jog it or something to where.
Yeah, I think 3 hours is pretty good. That's like what 10 minutes a mile.
No, is that? Oh yeah, you're right. Wow. Wait, no, that's not right.
Is that not right?
180 minutes, 13.1 miles or 13 miles. So that's what,
Uh,
13 minutes a mile? We probably should say it's about 15 minutes a mile pace. We're getting way too ahead of ourselves, but that's what next year is going to be, is running a half marathon.
I could walk 15-minute miles. We could both walk it. We'll figure it out.
Okay, we'll figure it out. Oh, but anyways, that's what we're thinking next year. That way, I think it's a little bit more. We're not dying
Well,
or
then we can
shaving
also
our
talk.
head,
We can also talk about it though, like throughout the
and we
season.
can
Be like,
vlog
yep,
it
just did
maybe.
just did some training.
Yeah, we can vlog it maybe. Get one of us
Because
riding behind them in the car.
imagine if one of us, whoever lost, didn't train for it. Like it would be me because it wouldn't be you.
Well,
I mean,
the whole thing is, I told you I've seen somebody do a half marathon, and you got like chug a beer at every mile or something like that. Be
absolutely
throwing
not.
up. It's just torturous. But
No, can't do that.
okay. All right. Anything else? Again, I do
Basketball,
want to.
anything?
No, basketball plays right now. They're playing right now. What's the score?
Let me see. I think they
They play
play Angelo State.
Angelo State. So
It's just a dub, anyways.
yeah, I don't really care. I got Angelo State and Mississippi Valley State are 2 games. So I don't foresee any problems here. Again, the big game next is Boise State. They haven't tweeted a score yet, so I don't know.
They might not have started. I can't find it on the.
What are you looking for? I got the score starters.
I tried it on. Oh, they're destroying them. 17-5.
Oh, perfect. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll leave it at that. Good football season, Colin.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
We'll wait for news to happen. Portal news. Signing days in 3 weeks. Probably have JD back on to talk some recruiting.
Do you have a specific time you want to do the shave head segment?
Colin, it is up to you. It is your world.
Norma just said we have to get the Christmas pictures done with me having hair. Yeah.
Okay.
And then they can go. Then the hair can go. So
I told my parents about our punishment last week, and I said, "Well, I should be fine." They were like, "No, don't do it. Don't do it." I was like,
they were worrying you had a 5-point lead.
Yeah, I was like, "Look, there's like a 5% chance I end up losing."
Not even. It was lower than that.
It was low, but yeah, so I wasn't really worried. But they're like, "No, don't do it. You shouldn't. He shouldn't have to do that." I was like, "Yes, he does. I had to eat that chip last year. Sorry."
There it is, right there too, over your shoulder.
There it is.
All
I feel like Colin low-key wants to do that at some point.
I do. I'll probably end up doing it at some point.
So he'll probably end up doing it.
No punishment. They'll just eat it.
No,
and then
we'll just stream it. We'll just stream it.
Mm.
Our channel is slowly turning into like a dare challenge channel, like a challenge channel. Like, can Colin do the hot chip?
Yeah.
Colin shaves his head.
Never mind. Yeah, the shaves head, runs a half marathon, chugs a beer every mile.
All right. That's all we got for y'all today. Colin will post a picture of his lights when he's done at nighttime.
You know what's really going about it? So we got 3 things of 50 feet, and I was gonna do the around the house. Decided I didn't want to do around the house because I can't. We have solar panels on one side, so I can't get on the roof on that side. And so we have the one on the front, and we're 3 lights short of it reaching the end. So we just have 3 lights where it's just not gonna light up.
That's annoying.
Yeah,
that's annoying. Go buy an inflatable, and it'll cover it up that way. Colin, look, you can go buy an inflatable right now for, I bet, like $20. Or actually,
Norma wanted a 7-foot Santa.
Bigger than that, man. I think ours is bigger than that. 12-foot Santa right now. $80. $80.
Jesus. A 12-foot Santa in my yard would be fucking great.
Christmas elf, 12-foot, $80. I'm looking at it right here. I'm looking at it right here. I'll share it.
It'd be taller. It'd be taller than my. Let's see this. Jesus, super. Oh my gosh.
This is what Colin needs right here. This is what Colin needs.
Click that play button.
You could click. Oh, I can zoom in.
Yeah.
Hey everyone! So excited to show you this 12-foot inflatable. It is LED, so it's gonna light up at night.
Love how it's in the middle of summer.
Super
I know, she's in a tank top.
Plug it in, and he starts filling up.
Yeah. Let me see. Oh, yeah, this is me.
How long does this take? Oh, there it is. I need it at nighttime. Oh,
Oh!
look at that. Look at that. Colin, come on.
I'm not spending
Hi,
$80
today
on
we're
an
going to
inflatable.
demo
Oh,
this
another one.
12-foot
Oh.
that
Oh my.
you're
It's Colin and 10
Oh
years.
my goodness. Oh my god.
I love how they made this in like iMovie.
That is so loud.
There you go. All right. Anyways, that's what Colin will be doing.
I'm not getting a 12-foot elf.
There's like 5 videos and it just plays the next one if I didn't stop it. Just kept going.
Mm.
Okay. That's all we got. Thank y'all for joining us. Hope y'all had a great Thanksgiving. We'll be back. I'm pretty sure news will start rolling in one way or the other with things we could talk about, Colin. Any defensive staff changes, any portal news, who they should be going after in the portal. We'll probably do a portal podcast here next week at some point to talk about what they need to do. Because last year, remember, we got on them for saying, hey, they didn't do enough in the portal. Well, Eric Morris said that's the one thing I wish I would have done is get more players in the portal. Well, this is your chance, Eric. Go win the lottery. Go win the lottery and go get some players. I'm looking at it right now.
Maybe
Colin,
we'll get some LSU players.
Go get some LSU players.
Who from LSU? Who from LSU? One player from LSU.
What position? Give me a position.
I'll give you
Which
2
side of the
positions.
ball?
I want linebacker.
I don't think you understand. LSU's defense was as bad, was awful
Well,
this
yeah,
year.
but
as
do you
well.
think an SEC athlete might just need a change of scenery?
Change of scenery? Yeah, then probably. No
Like just no linebackers.
Christian Brathwaite, come on down. I guess high 3-star.
You just guess.
Christian Brathwaite. I think he's out of Houston. I think.
And then offensive line.
That's tough. Their offensive line's good.
Yeah.
Offensive line's really good.
But imagine that offensive like here you go. Here's a question for you, and you're just gonna say no right away, anyways. Jaden Daniels swapped out for Chandler Rogers. Is Chandler Rogers a Heisman candidate?
I've been saying Chandler Rogers is like I don't want to be disrespectful, but yeah, like Jaden Daniel light, which is not disrespectful at all because Jaden Daniels is awesome, Heisman Trophy winner,
eventual NFL quarterback.
Yeah, Eric Morris, Chandler Rogers is elite. Yeah, so we'll see. All right, third time now I'm ending this podcast. Let's see if Colin talks again.
No, I'm good.
All right, he keeps wearing a San Antonio hoodie. I don't know if he's trying to tell us something.
I am a Van Alstyne.
Why don't you get a Van Alstyne hoodie, Colin?
Do you think Van Alstyne's got that type of funding?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I think you could do something about that.
Okay.
All right, we will see y'all later.